Modern Warfare 3 and Warzone have a mid-season update coming, not this upcoming week, but the week following. And content-wise, that's of course something we can expect when it comes to new updates, but when it comes to game fixes, bugs, and such, it's easy to write off any meaningful changes or adjustments as something that we won't see for another 12 days to coincide with that, right? I mean, because, well, that's kind of happened the entire past year with Modern Warfare 2. You needed or wanted a change, you'd have to wait until mid-season or a new season launch update. But the nice part is that there's a few things here in the past day and a half or so while I was gone that was confirmed to be adjusted in the coming days to weeks leading up to this year that are important mentions, so we'll take a look at that here in this video. The good news that some changes may actually be made while others are still on the way before Season 1 Reloaded. So drop your thoughts as we go along, drop a like if you enjoy, and subscribe for more to stay up to date with everything regarding Modern Warfare 3, X-Defiant, and other FPS content here on the channel. I'd love to have you. And finally, use code ESPRESSO for up to 30% off your order of G Fuel, but more on that a little later. For now, let's talk about these upcoming changes. First, one of the ones that's already happened and is a good one in my opinion comes down to a simple and fundamental mechanic in spawning with Modern Warfare 3. One big problem on maps like Shipment, maybe you found it on Meat, is that if you get spawn trapped or there's just teams pushing your spawns here in any capacity, especially in hardcore, is that you'll spawn and have that split second maybe that you have to shoot back to get back into the action and to stop being spawn killed immediately. But usually you couldn't do so because there's that animation where your player would cock their gun before anything else. As of an update yesterday afternoon or evening, depending on where you are, Sledgehammer confirmed that that was a problem, and as a result, the weapon check animations were no longer going to play upon respawn in small map playlists, meaning that you'll be able to get back into the fight without any sort of problem or interruption. So that's a big change to something small that you might not necessarily notice until it happens to you, but it's a much needed change in my opinion, and I'm glad that one already happened. Next, the one that I think may be the biggest change and good news for Warzone in particular is that we have another round of weapon balancing coming next week, which is kind of odd to me, but I'm not complaining by any means. Weapon tuning in most cases in recent years has been tethered to title updates, which logically makes sense. If you're going to adjust fundamental values, you may as well package it with other big changes and fundamental adjustments that need more targeted updates per se than just a playlist update. Now, we've recently seen updates go out that were something of a playlist update. Most recently, those adjustments to things like the snake shot ammunition being restricted in play. While it's still visible in the gunsmith, it's something that once you got into the game, it was not going to actually be live. So those were implemented in a fashion that's more server-side related, not game adjustments, since it still is visible and interactable out of game and in those menus, but it's just something that would no longer be applicable in game. But weapon balance has been one of those big points of contention lately, as we see weapons that still have persisted through the last set of weapon tuning, others that have creeped into the nearing broken labeling, and others, and Raven confirmed that we've seen your questions about weapon balance, and we're happy to confirm an update is coming mid next week, and yes, that includes changes to the MTZ Interceptor. So one, awesome to hear again. Interesting that they're doing this next week, especially given we're so close to a new title update with Season 1 Reloaded. I'm not going to say I have anything against it, because obviously I'm not against it, but it's just odd to see the sort of easy route not being taken still. So close to just packaging it in with another update itself, whereas that kind of felt like the last year that we had, again, with Warzone, with Modern Warfare 2, where it was just kind of this, instead of treating things in a relatively timely manner, instead it's more of just like we'll package it all in one regardless of when the problem was created or when it needs attention. It's that weird deviation where like I don't remember having things fixed in a timely manner and what that feels like. Number two, I'm also interested to see what this will entail beyond, because obviously the MTZ is a big point of interest given that it still has that 3-shot kill potential, something that rewards accuracy, sure, but to a potential too far degree. I'd be curious to see also if there's any other key weaponry that's named in this upcoming update as well, given that we'll see things probably like maybe the Dragon's Breath adjusted in some way, shape, or form. That's been one that with the Haymaker has now become kind of problematic. Depends on what map you play. I think Resurgence, you'll probably see it more so than maybe like Urzikstan in the big map standard BR experience, but it's one of those things that there are other prominent items that may also be adjusted. It's just a matter of which ones are they going to tackle with this update. I'd be curious to see if it also introduces or reintroduces the snake shots and the other restricted items here that we've seen the last couple of weeks, given that it'll be the first weapon balancing pass since those adjustments were made. Another adjustment that has been acknowledged is something that's actually finally been acknowledged, was the event tab having a fix incoming here at this. They said, we're aware of an issue causing the event tab to be inaccessible for certain players. Despite this, event challenges remain progressible and rewards can still be earned. We expect to release a fix in the coming weeks. And this one's a very good one one to hear that they're finally acknowledging, but it's also kind of weird that it's taken this long to acknowledge it officially, because this has been ongoing since, I want to say, like season 1 launched. Feel free to correct me if it was earlier than that even, but that's when I first saw reports of this being like widespread. What's stranger to me still is that this has been something they've been apparently aware of for a while now. I had seen this get asked to the creator liaisons and the PR teams behind the scenes right as it was first getting reported, and they sent back messaging that it was a known issue, they were working on a fix. But it's just odd to me that it was kind of in that like limbo state where creators and people could relay that, yeah, it's got a fix incoming, they're aware of it, but they never actually put it out on any official channels, any official socials that have these hundreds of thousands of millions of followers directly. So to now finally see this acknowledged in such a capacity is definitely nice. I do wish it was a little earlier, but I mean, at least it's being mentioned now. Now this one, though, it might not be as immediate as a fix as, say, going out with next week's update for Warzone and Modern Warfare 3, because it was stated we expect to release a fix in the coming weeks. So not necessarily coming next week like the others, not necessarily coming at mid-season either, but I'd imagine that mid-season is probably the earliest we do see that. If it is something that does require a larger fix, honestly, I've never seen or can really think of a whole segment of the UI just not showing up for random amounts of players. That's probably something that does require a title update if I were to guess. So maybe mid-season is when this happens, but personally, up until then at least, I'm going to try and list out all the challenges and such when we discuss things like events, because as it was mentioned, those challenges are still tracking. You still can get progression here for this, and with XP ones, it makes it a little easier because it is something you just have to play the game and you'll earn it eventually. But like with the Codmas event and the Santa Sleigh Ground challenges, obviously you need to know what you are going for in order to unlock those certain items. It's not as simple as just play and get guaranteed to get those rewards. So going forward, if this does persist still, of course, we'll do our best to keep you informed with everything that comes along with those. Right now, it was something that as of actually today, we saw an adjustment to the UI that reflects the accurate amount of XP needed to get the overall challenges completed for the Vortex event, where the overall Magma camo now requires 1,233,700 XP, oddly specific and honestly a lot of XP. It does take quite a bit of time to get through this one, grinding out some zombies camos and stuff like that yesterday. I'm still only like, I don't know, a third, maybe a half of the way through it, but it is something that will take a little bit of time. I think it was broken down where it's about an hour of in-game playtime if you end up doing it across all 14 days that the event is live. So play more, play less. It's just one of those things that, of course, will take time, but more time than recent ones. So that said, that's some good news for upcoming updates here within Modern Warfare 3 and Warzone, but I think that is now we're going to wrap it up. I just want to fill you guys in on some of the stuff that you may have missed here. Again, the last day and a half or so, I haven't been able to really touch too much on what's going on currently, just some personal stuff behind the scenes, but we're back. I wanted to fill you guys in while we could, but that's where we're going to wrap it up. So let me know your thoughts down below before we wrap everything up entirely. Going into the new year here, make sure you use code ESPRESSO for up to 30% off your entire order of G Fuel. To me, G Fuel is my cup of coffee in the morning, gets my productivity flowing and the day going. Whether you want to grab a restock or pick up something for the very first time, grab your favorite tubs like Hype Sauce, Pog Juice, or something like a starter kit, Code ESPRESSO can help you out and offer you a nice discount year-round from anywhere from 10 to 30% off your entire order. Personally, I'd recommend my Team Carnage, our flavor of Pog Juice, love that one, Pink Trip, the Morbius Nectarine flavor, and or Starfruit along with Hype Sauce and others. But if you want to check anything out for yourself, check the link in the description below at the very least, and use code ESPRESSO if you want to pick something up for yourself at checkout. But that said, drop your thoughts down below, drop a like if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe if you guys are new to the channel and would like to stay up to date with all things Modern Warfare 3, Warzone, X Defiant, and other FPS content. I'd love to have you in the community, but for now, thanks so much for watching. My name is ESPRESSO. I'll see you later. Take care, and peace.